Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston. It's the 21st. It's September. It's the year 2020. And I wanted to show you some of this. This is something a subscriber sent me a few days ago, and I wanted you to see this. This is old. This is old. But for those that don't think soldiers will fire on American citizens, I got to tell you, you're completely wrong. This is from 1998. And the day before the Boston Marathon bombing, I was at the start line. I was at the finish line or whatever, where the runners were coming in and signing in, so forth and so on. I was right outside the building that was the site of the Boston Massacre. And the day before the marathon, there was an enormous gathering of military, from privates to colonels, etc. There was about 1,000 people. And I remember going back to my grandmother's house and saying, "Nana, did you see any of this on the news?" She said, "No, not at all." What those soldiers and officers were doing was protesting this. This entire thing. Blah, 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 blah. It's asking them how they feel about things. Blah, 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 blah. It keeps going, it keeps going, it keeps going. And what it comes down to, what the brass tacks are basically, is, would you fire on American citizens? The U.S. government declares a ban on the possession, sale, transportation, and transfer of all non-sporting firearms. A 30-day amnesty period is permitted for these firearms to be turned over to the local authorities. At the end of this period, a number of citizen groups refuse to turn over their firearms. Consider the following statement. I would fire upon U.S. citizens who refuse or resist confiscation of firearms banned by the U.S. government. Do I have no opinion? Strongly agree, disagree, or strongly disagree? Yeah. You see, this is from 1998. From that time till now, 22 years later, the amount of MK Ultra, the amount of mind control, the amount of dumbing down, the amount of fluoride, vaccines, medications, etc., etc., etc. And I'll tell you, myself and a lot of people I know who are in the military, they give you vaccines like you read about, and you're too shell-shocked. You haven't slept, you're in a whole different area, everyone's yelling at you, it's just crazy. You just take it, because after they give you the vaccines, they actually give you about, I think it was 12 hours to just rest, and you'll do anything for it. And that's where we found ourselves. But from 1998 till now, this is an entirely different ballgame. I don't even think they need to use this anymore, but I wanted you to see it because it's real. And that's all there is to it. Now, another subscriber sent me this. And I'll leave a link below for it so you can actually download this. We're not supposed to have this, but we do. Attached is the vaccine distribution plan issued by the CDC on September 16th, 2020. The CDC and Department of Defense will begin rolling out the vaccine by January 2021, if not sooner. The plan calls for the CDC, in cooperation with quote-unquote stakeholders, churches, schools, medical facilities, medical personnel, local government agencies, insurance companies, to convince the public that the vaccine is in a person's best interest. You can't insure your car if you don't get the vaccine. You can't register your vehicle. You can't renew your license unless you can prove that you've had the certificate of vaccination ID 19, which stands 19. 1 is the first letter of the alphabet. 9 is I, the 9th letter of the alphabet. 19. Certificate of Vaccination ID AI. So the vaccine will be voluntary until they get enough people inoculated that the Christian remnant is sufficiently outnumbered by the stark raving mad idiots that the vaccine doesn't kill. At that point, just like the book of Revelation say, the Antichrist and his followers will wage war against us and overcome us. Wasn't sure if you'd seen the attached document or not, so I wanted to share. Sincerely, Cliff. Cliff wanted his name to remain fairly anonymous, but he still put it out there. Here it is, right here. I don't know what this is. And I'm going to leave a link for this so you can check this out. But this is their entire playbook on how to get preachers, police officers, soldiers, medical workers, everybody to coerce you into getting this thing. It may not be mandatory, but here's the deal. Here's the deal. It doesn't have to be mandatory. Do you see what I'm saying? Because this is what occurred. Where is it? Where is it? Stand by. This is what the cops did to a woman for not wearing a mask at a game. I mean, they tased her. That's insane. And they're trying to change the story now because it was, you know, a black officer on a white woman. So they want to flip that up a little bit because their plan is to stand by. Their plan is and always has been this. Ordo ab cow. We're watching the police allow all this to happen. We're watching vans full of people pulling up and destroying shit, knocking things over, breaking stuff, no big deal. But don't wear a mask? Oh, the police go into full force, full effect, no problem whatsoever at all. Now here's the thing. I told you about this 2 years ago, so check this out.
But if you have something like this that you want to push forward, whether the people like it or not, that weather is necessary. I've shown you this before, and it applies to a lot of cities because there's 100 resilient cities all across the United States. Boston is an important cultural and economic center rich with United States history, blah, 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 blah. Skip down to right here. There's only 3 paragraphs. 1, 2, 3. Look what the third one is. Boston's response to the marathon bombing in 2013 demonstrated a well-integrated emergency response system. Do you guys remember that?
After the city of Boston's proudest days on the calendar, the city is waking up today in recovery mode and still looking for answers in the wake of Monday's bombing that rocked the Boston Marathon.
And then right afterwards, you'll remember that all of this occurred nonstop for days. For days. They went door to door and took people out at the end of a rifle. They were looking for 2 young men, apparently, and they were taking everyone out. And if you had the nerve to stick a camera out the window, they would point a truck-mounted machine gun at you to tell you not to. So this is what they want, but better. And they don't want it just here. They want it in 100 cities. But I'm focusing on Boston for obvious reasons. And yes, they're carefully checking all those trash barrels. Don't worry about these ones for now, but check these and get those pesky residents out of the house. And when you look at this, it's a long list. It's a long list. Aging infrastructure. Well, remember the big dig that was just the other day, and there's a brand new bridge. Blizzard. We've gotten blizzards once in a while, and we always made it through. It happens. It snows. It's called 4 seasons. Climate change. That's something they have to deal with right away. Coastal and tidal flooding. 4 nor'easters, it flooded once. Cyber attack. Well, whatever. Economic inequality. I don't know how, whatever. Ethnic inequality. Well, close the borders and stop people from illegally entering, or better yet, stop bringing illegals in FedEx, UPS, and other devices.
So let me jump in here real quick. The ethnic inequality didn't really make sense to me at the time. We had a BLM issue, if you recall the video I put out saying a message to Black Lives Matter. I think that was in like 2017. The ethnic inequality and the economic inequality, that would be the Great Reset. It's incredibly uber wealthy people that have jet planes, they live in castles, they make the rules. They're the ones that are deciding suddenly that you've worked your entire life and somebody else didn't. They want to take your money away. And then the ethnic inequality is exactly what we've been talking about the entire time. Suddenly there's racism, even though the racism is paid for by the same people that are foisting this entire thing on us big time. Now, the reason I brought this up is this was the resilient cities or the safe cities. And then this is, it's here. It's already started. It's happening first in Australia. People in this particular town said they have never seen so many police officers with different uniforms, etc., etc. It's because these are the Strong Cities Network. This is them. This is it. It's occurring. They're doing this in a controlled environment, and we've already seen the atrocities coming out of there, things very, very similar to this happening to the people of Australia. It's going to happen everywhere. And I'll tell you what, myself and Mike have been watching the skies out here. Yesterday, driving through Wyoming was exactly what I always figured walking through purgatory would be like. The wind was just unbelievable. It was blowing so hard I couldn't get past 64 miles an hour on my truck. And it was incredibly hot. It's all smoked out here, and they've been chemtrailing like I've never seen before. So they're getting ready to do a weather event. Be prepared for that. That's all I can tell you. Be prepared. Links will be below. Be prepared. Be prepared. I warned you about this a few years ago, a couple of times, and now it's come to fruition. This is what they want to do. They want to burn it all down. And I can't help but notice that in the Bible it says the second time will be by fire. And a good majority of the country right now is still burning. You see what I'm saying? It's still burning. If this wasn't all badlands and desert, this would all be on fire. But everything that can burn, they are burning. And here's the other thing. For every single solitary tree we lose, that's one more device that takes the CO2 that you exhale and turns it into fresh oxygen. That's what they're doing. And the ridiculousness with the masks, I will not wear a mask. I'm not going to wear a mask. They can tase, they can do whatever they want. But believe it or not, we've all grown up in America. We have the ability to either make it or break it. You could have lived your life right. You could have lived your life terrible. I did both. But now, right now, everyone has to do whatever they possibly can to make this the most difficult transition to the New World Order ever. Ever. Because if history doesn't record it, God will. And that's a fact. I just put this video up on RichieFromBoston.tv right here. And no one's seen this video as of yet. The links will be below. I'll put it up later if possible, but I know it's going to get hit. And it won't get hit on this channel because I put up a lot of good stuff up here and it has not gotten hit. So there is that. And there's a lot of videos here. There's a lot of videos and there's documentary stuff you can't find on YouTube anymore, including survival, band, and major false flag documentaries, etc. And also, I'm still on BitChute for now. So there's that. Richie from Boston. I am out.